Israel and Hamas have agreed to a truce deal, raising hopes of peace after 2 years of devastating war. But does it mean the conflict is finally over? Here is what we know about the deal.
Well, first of all, I think it's a very important achievement.
Dr. Sanam Vakil is the director of the Middle East and North Africa program at Chatham House.
It's a 20-point plan that has, out of need, been broken up into phases.
The deal is the first phase of US President Donald Trump's peace initiative. It involves a ceasefire, a handover of hostages from both sides, and a partial Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. It was hammered out in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, and crucial details are yet to be spelled out. Questions like who will govern Gaza, will Hamas disarm, and what guarantees exist that fighting won't resume remain. So what's different about this deal?
I think the U.S. objective has been to get to the hostage release and prisoner releases and then move on from there.
A notable difference this time compared with previous ceasefire agreements is that there is no deadline for a full deal. Previous ceasefires collapsed when deadlines hit, but the jury is still out on whether that makes this deal more durable. Israel's finance minister is already calling for Hamas to be destroyed after the hostages return. And while Hamas has agreed to participate in the hostage and prisoner exchange, it has not said it will disarm or disband, a key stipulation of Trump's proposal. This time, Trump's also putting his personal stamp on it. There's talk of a, quote, board of peace led by Trump and Tony Blair, overseeing Gaza's future, with local Palestinian committees running daily services supervised by international experts. As for what happens next, the Israel Defense Forces will withdraw and redeploy troops to agreed-upon lines within 24 hours of the Israeli government approving the deal. Then Hamas has 72 hours to release hostages. Under Trump's plan, humanitarian aid to Palestinians should then start to flow. Trump's expected in Jerusalem on Sunday. After 2 years of devastation, families in Tel Aviv and Gaza are celebrating. But whether this brings lasting peace or just another temporary pause remains to be seen.
Life as they knew it 2 years ago will never be the same. They will never get the same sense of dedication and identification and safety and security that they had before. It's impossible to undo it and pretend it didn't happen. This type of trauma, when you are captive or hostage, either in a state situation or in a conflict situation or criminally, it's what we call relational trauma. And this is why it's so malignant, because when you go back to your former lives or to your future life and you start building up your relationships in families, with friends, and relationship with your own country, with your own people, there is a betrayal that is in the relationship, and you cannot just throw it out. For example, in 1973, all of the prisoners like myself that were in Egypt were in solitary confinement most of the time. Only in the end we were in group. And for us to be in a group, for me personally to be in a group, was the end of captivity. When I was with other people in Cairo, in the jail, but we were in a group, I felt at home. So solitary confinement is a thing on its own, and we know it has terrible effects on prisoners and inmates. On the other hand, people who were in Syria that were in worse conditions, but they were in a group, they process it differently. So I'm not sure how we can compare the two, but I guess that the more lonely you are, the more constricted you are and isolated you are, the worse are the conditions, and the more difficult will be the rehabilitation, the psychological rehabilitation, and the physical one also, But simply put, it really makes havoc and confusion with your alignments and with your identification. Now, the people that you feel that are closest to you put you at risk. The people who took you from there and made you a hostage also saved your life from the war situation. So you know, the good and bad are getting kind of blurry, and the people who are supposed to rescue you or to bail you out from there, like for the past 2 years, was very clearly that was being postponed. You feel being betrayed by them. I'm not betrayed by my enemy, but I'm betrayed by my own people. I think it's impossible once you experience something to undo it. Maybe one day it will be possible, but now you take it with you, and because it's traumatic, it's getting so much repressed that it takes years for things to get out, you know, through therapy, through experiencing, and then every time you have to cope with whatever comes out, and of course it changes you. You are no longer a prisoner, but you are a prisoner of your own experiences, and you want to get free, not just from the physical prison, but also from being constricted by trauma. Also, you're very focused on your survival. Survival is, and when you are getting out of there, life becomes, first of all, very mundane and routine, no dramas, and you have to find significance in little things again that are not survival type. And also you have to be very attuned to so many different things on so many different layers, and you have to relearn to do it, because every time something goes wrong, you can get startled, and again it's this, survival mode. Because trauma is usually characterized by things happen too much and too quickly, and you want to have life slowly, getting people back to life, given time and resources for people to grow. I think it's in families and in communities and in the country at large to be very patient with people and not hurry them, rush them into being okay, life is back to normal, and let's get ready for the next war. Of course, people around are very happy and they want to engulf the person with the happiness, but it's too much. It's too much food, too much light, too much noise, and too much happiness, and making people all of a sudden heroes. It's too much to process, and I think the time is of essence, and you have to give people, to accompany them for the journey.